that love not dependent on the object. What's the comparison? What's the difference? Pirkei Avot says as soon as you take the object away, the love falls apart. So if in the beginning you have something that attached you to a person because they have something, as soon as that thing that was the intermediate, the broker between you and them, as soon as that thing is removed, the love is gone. That's number one. But sometimes love that's dependent on something is better than love dependent on nothing, the Abarbanel says, but it's a very unique thing. What is that thing of love that is dependent on something that is stronger than love dependent on nothing? Very deep what I'm saying right now, listen closely. But it's a good thing. Real love. Love dependent on something that is good. Anybody want to take a guess? Do you understand the question? There's two types of love. Love dependent on something, love dependent on nothing. When love dependent on something is objects, when you take the object away, there's no more love. So the Pirkei Avot says it's not love. But there is a certain love that's dependent on an object or dependent on something, and it's good. And it's stronger than love dependent on nothing in all cases. Love between student and teacher, you're close, you're touching it. You're touching it. Mom and a baby is not dependent on something, I hope not. Here it's father and son, right? Yaakov loved Yosef for a certain reason, and we're going to see in a second what that reason is. What is it? Anybody?
Yaakov used to spend a lot of time with Yosef.
Why? Why not with Binyamin? He's also his younger, he's from Rachel too. So you can't say Rachel's the reason, right? Can we say that? We can't say that Yaakov loved Yosef because Rachel is his mother, right? Because the Pesukim don't say that Yaakov loved Binyamin in here. So all the 11 brothers were Amorites?
What Jonathan said?
What?
What did he say, Jonathan?
He said student and teacher. Student and teacher.
He was close, that's why.
He was close, he was close. It's connected to that.
Binyamin was too young to form a relationship with yet. He didn't grow up yet. So you had Yosef who was older. So he spent more time with him and that's why. Because was Binyamin the next in line after Yosef that he loved him? Is there an order? Who's number 2, 3?
I think that Yaakov loved all of them.
Right, but
I'm saying we don't see what?
The unevenly.
We don't see that. We don't see anywhere in the Psukim that it says he loved Binyamin more than the rest of the Shvat. Right. So we're gonna get. This is what we're asking. This is what we're after. There's a certain love between Yaakov and Yosef that gives the answer to the code.
Rabbi, sorry, but you just said you mentioned about teacher
Yeah.
and the son.
Correct.
And the student.
Correct.
I think the father was the teacher for the most of all the children to Joseph.
Correct. That's true. We're not denying that. What's the love? Show me the love that's dependent on something.
He was putting more efforts on him.
I gave you a hint that says dependent. What?
He was putting more efforts on him than other kids.
That's a bad thing. It sounds like.
No.
If I do homework with my daughter and now with my son, it's World War III.
Teaching her. No.
When you're around, it says that there's cases where you have to save your rabbi, not your father, right? So that love is dependent on the Torah. The love between you and your father.
Okay, but tell me what that love is. Dependent on the Torah, you're saying? But he taught Torah to all his sons.
Yeah, but Yosef knew everything. Maybe they didn't know everything.
Is it the future? Mashiach and
It's a real thing. There's a certain thing. It doesn't even have to be necessarily father to son. But this type of love exists. It's unbreakable and it's very painful when it's removed from your life. You know, everybody here, we have guys that are dating, and they look for this. They look for this when they try to find a shidduch. They look for this. A what? A Rebbitzin? You're gonna spend your rest of your life with somebody one day. What does that person have to you?
Because Yosef was a guy.
He gave him information.
So if you had an ugly son, you wouldn't love him? Put the ugly one in the field.
He had the same trials and tribulations as Yaakov.
Very close. Very close. He said he had the same trials and tribulations as Yosef. But the trials and tribulations of Yosef happened later. He didn't experience
Oh,
any...
He knew that he was gonna have righteous children.
I'm sorry for spending too much time on giving you guys the chance to answer, but I want to show you how it's going to be something so simple. It's in the back of our mind. We need to bring it to the front of our mind.
It's the same person.
Oh. Shh. Why is it always you? Listen to this.
That's in front of the Bible.
מה הכתוב הזה להודיע? This pasuk comes to teach us שהייתה אהבת יעקב ליוסף, the love of Yaakov to Yosef was מפני חוכמתו שלמותו ולא מפני שהוא בנו. It was because of his intrinsic chokhmah, his intrinsic perfection, and not because he was his son. I'll read this part in English. For the love that a father has for his son, specifically the one that he loves the most, is due to his resemblance. And this can be observed even in animals that lack intellect. It's a nature type of love that if you see yourself in somebody else, you will love them ununderstandably why. You won't understand why you love this person. And that's the translation according to the Abarbanel of Ki ben zekunim hu lo. He was on Yaakov Avinu's understanding level when Yaakov was in a much older age and Yosef was 17 years old. Yaakov sees, he says, this is me. This is me. I understand. This is exactly the question that I had when I was learning this sugya. This is the same exact time that I got angry when this happened to me. And then you start seeing, my son is like me, and you start binding with him. The other sons maybe had one trait, maybe had two traits, but that's why it says, Ele Toledot Yaakov Yosef. No other brothers. This is the offspring of Yaakov, Yosef, who resembled him the most. Very important to understand this. You love yourself. So now if you want to meet people that you get along with better, how do you do that? If you change yourself, if there are things in you that you remove and delete, then you will meet people that became what you became, and you will see the same fight in them that you had in yourself, and you will love them. This is the whole secret of Rabbi Akiva. The Arizal writes, who is Rabbi Akiva's neshama? Yaakov. Akiva is Yaakov Aleph. The letters. Akiva. Why? Because Rabbi Akiva said something very powerful. All the mitzvahs in the Torah are dependent on one real principle. To love your neighbor like yourself. Right? Hillel HaZaken taught similar teachings. What does that mean, love your neighbor like yourself? It means you will love your... It's not telling you a commandment. It's telling you a fact. Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. You will love your neighbor who is just like you. If you are a jealous person, and that other jealous person comes to you with jealous news and rumors, rumors about his trials and tribulations, about jealousy, you will love to hear it because you're thinking, "Whoa, that's me." So Yaakov saw in his son what he is. Lo mitzat shehu beno, not because he's his son. And he says here now, look at this. He says, Haya ra'ui sheyehav et shara banav yoter mimenu ki ahava kefi ha'adavar ha'davar ha'ahuv. This specific situation, it would be impossible for him to love the other sons equal to Yosef because the other sons were not the same as him. How do you want to control what you like? If somebody comes to you now to your business and you have employees and you partner your employees together, you say, Reuven's going to work with Shimon. Now somebody comes and says, nope, Reuven's going to come and work with Zvulun. But they don't go good together. Do you know when you come to a yeshiva, Beis Medrash, the first year, how many of you were in Beis Medrash? When you go to yeshiva, Israel, anywhere you go, who's the first person you meet in the yeshiva? After your farher, you took your test and everything, you come into the Beis Medrash, orientation day or day one, you meet your chavrusa. And the guys that interviewed you have to give you your chavrusa, your chavruta. What is a chavruta? They literally sit there, they evaluate your demeanor. The rabbis evaluate your demeanor, and they evaluate another person's demeanor. For example, when I would learn with somebody, I have a certain personality. I scream when I learn. Is that bad? If I'm trying to make a point and the person goes off topic, I will scream at it. When we're learning one-on-one, not in the class, don't worry. One-on-one, we learn. So I need a person that screams back. If I have a person and he's, yeah, you're right, I'm not going to learn anything. I need a person that is
Challenging.
fighting back.
Right?
Right, and the world loves that. You can't put a beginner with an expert. The world's not going to like that. The expert will wipe them out any minute. If you put two experts together and they compete, you'll have Coca-Cola and Pepsi. You'll have Microsoft and Apple. You'll have Tesla. You'll have, we're waiting for who the other one is. You'll have the creation, competition. It breeds beautiful things. And Yaakov is wondering what will be the offspring, what will be coming from Yosef. Now, so he says, what is it? I'm going to summarize the rest because we're running out on time. He says that, do you know what Yaakov Avinu loved with Yosef? He was able to adjust like a chameleon. Vehu na'ar, and he's a youthful person at Bnei Bilha, when he's with the kids of Bilha. When he's with his other sons that maybe are not the biggest Talmidei Chachamim, maybe they aren't in the same interests as Yosef. Yosef likes to learn with the Gadol Hador. Bnei Bilha, maybe they don't like to learn with the Gadol Hador. So when he would be with Bnei Bilha, he would adjust to their level. When he would be with Yehuda, he would adjust to his level. When he would be with Yaakov, he would go back to his level. And Yaakov said, wow, you know how to camouflage. You know how to be a chameleon. Guys, this is the most difficult thing in the world. I'm telling you firsthand experience. To go home from work and leave your work at work and come home to be home is one of the most difficult things.